Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. Now we are going to discussing about NISM Series 10A Investment Advisor Level 1 Mock Test for Module 5. First question. Which component is essential for determining the efficient frontier in modern portfolio theory? Option A. Asset liquidity. Option B. Historical NAVs. Option C. Risk return correlations between assets. And option D. SIP frequency. Correct answer is option C. Risk return correlations between assets. Efficient frontier relies on expected returns, variances, and correlations of assets. Next question. In MPT, the best portfolio for a particular investor lies where? Option A. The beta is 0. Option B. Their utility curve is tangent to the efficient frontier. Option C. Return is minimum. And option D. Risk is maximum. Correct answer is option B. Their utility curve is tangent to the efficient frontier. Optimal portfolios lie at the point where an investor's utility curve touches the efficient frontier. Next question. An investor who is indifferent between a risky and a risk-free asset is considered option A. Risk neutral. Option B. Risk seeking. Option C. Risk averse. And option D. Risk defensive. Correct answer is option A. Risk neutral. Risk neutral investors focus only on returns, not on the associated risk. Next question. In MPT, what does a convex efficient frontier curve suggest? Option A. Risk and return are unrelated. Option B. Linear correlation between assets. Option C. Trade-off between risk and return. And option D. Constant return for any risk. Correct answer is option C. Trade-off between risk and return. The efficient frontier is convex due to diminishing returns from added risk. Next question. The investment policy statement is useful because option A. Specifies the AUM. Option B. Helps time the market. Option C. Guarantees performance. And option D. Aligns clients' goals, preferences and constraints. Correct answer is option D. Aligns clients' goals, preferences and constraints. Investment policy statement is guiding document for portfolio managers based on clients' needs and objectives. Next question. In tactical asset allocation, the investor option A follows only debt investments. Option B responds to short-term market trends. Option C avoids equity exposure. And option D times mutual fund SIPs. Correct answer is tactical asset allocation allows deviations from strategic allocation to exploit market opportunities. Next question. A portfolio is considered inefficient if it option A lies on the efficient frontier, option B is fully diversified, option C provides lower return for the same risk, and option D it has a Sharpe ratio greater than 1. Correct answer is option C. It provides lower return for the same risk. Inefficient portfolios yield lower returns for the same level of risk compared to others. Next question. What is the best risk adjusted performance measure for portfolios with unsystematic risk? Option A. Jensen's alpha. Option B. Trainer ratio. Option C. Tracking ratio. And option D. Sharpe error. Correct answer is option D. Sharpe error. Sharpe considers total risk, making it appropriate for undiversified portfolios. Next question. Peer group analysis compares portfolio returns with Option A, similar investment styles or mandates. Option B, risk-free assets. Option C, gilt funds only. And option D, equity market index. Correct answer is option A, similar investment styles or mandates. Peer comparison helps assess relative performance against similar portfolios. Next question. What is the role of the efficient frontier in portfolio construction? Option A, identify maximum taxes. Option B, suggest best return per given risk. Option C, indicate volatility only. Option D, guarantee profits. Correct answer is option B, suggest best return per given risk. The efficient frontier displays optimal portfolios offering the best expected return for each risk level. Next question. Rebalancing should be done. Option A, daily. Option B, based on portfolio drift beyond predefined limits. Option C, when NAV changes. And option D, whenever market falls. Correct answer is option B. Rebalancing is typically triggered when asset weights drift beyond tolerance bands defined in the IPS. Next question. Which of the following measure evaluates consistency of excess return? Option A, Jensen's alpha. Option B, beta. Option C, information ratio. And option D, Sharpe ratio. Correct answer is option C. Information ratio equal to portfolio return minus benchmark divided by tracking error, showing excess return consistency. Next question. Time weighted return is most appropriate when? Option A, there are multiple inflows or outflows. Option B, portfolio has zero volatility. Option C, beta is constant. And option D, investor wants highest NAV. Correct answer is option A, there are multiple inflows or outflows. Time weighted return isolates the manager's performance by removing cash flow timing effects. Next question. In performance attribution, the selection effect refers to option A, how stocks were weighted. Option B, choosing outperforming stocks within a sector. Option C, overall market movement. And option D, interest rate selection. Correct answer is option B, choosing a outperforming stocks within a sector. Selection effect evaluates how specific stock picks performed relative to sector. Next question. Why is beta not suitable for undiversified portfolios? Option A, it's too volatile. Option B, it assumes all risk is market risk. Option C, it ignores alpha. And option D, it includes taxes. Correct answer is beta assumes systematic risk. In undiversified portfolios, total risk is the matter. Next question. What is a limitation of standard deviation in performance measurement? Option A, it cannot be calculated. Option B, it only measures downside risk. Option C, it penalizes both upside and downside volatility. And option D, it's the same as tracking error. Correct answer is option C, it penalizes both upside and downside volatility. Standard deviation includes both gains and losses, which may misrepresent risk for some investors. Next question. Which tool in MPT helps determine portfolio combinations that reduce overall risk? Option A, SIP calculator. Option B, correlation matrix. Option C, NAV table. And option D, capital gain chart. Correct answer is option B. Correlation matrix shows how asset returns move relative to each other. guiding diversification. Next question. What does a Treynor ratio of 0.75 imply? Option A. Fund is outperforming risk-free asset per unit of beta. Option B. Portfolio is under-diversified. Option C. Total risk is excessive. And option D. Fund avoids market risk. Correct answer is option A. Fund is outperforming risk-free asset per unit of beta. Treynor evaluates risk-adjusted return using systematic risk beta. Next question. A total return index differs from a price return index in that option A. It includes dividends. Option B. It tracks foreign stocks. Option C. Ignores NAV. And option D. Includes reinvested dividends. Correct answer is option D. It includes reinvested dividends. Total return index reflects both price appreciation and dividend reinvestment. Next question. A portfolio with correlation coefficient of -1 between assets can achieve option A. Maximum risk. Option B. Complete risk elimination. Option C. Zero return. And option D. No diversification. Correct answer is option B. Complete risk elimination. Perfect negative correlation allows the maximum diversification benefit, possibly reducing risk to zero. Thank you for watching my video. Please subscribe for more chapters.